Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, and in this segment, dear viewers, Startups Support Community is a new initiative launched to boost small and medium enterprises, SMEs, especially during the COVID-19, as many SMEs face challenges to continue working. And we are honored to host Mr. Ashraf Tawakol, founder of the Startups Support Community Initiative, to tell us more about this issue. A very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of
Thank you
Nile.
very much.
Engineer Tawakol, thank you for joining us. So, first of all, talk to us about how did you get the idea to launch this initiative?
Actually, the idea came to us. We didn't actually come up with it. With the first wave of the so-called COVID-19, we started having a lot of small enterprises and early startups failing miserably and facing a lot of challenges and not understanding exactly what to do. And since then, and as we all in this initiative, we work as mentors as well for formal support for startups, we decided to open up to give startups and SMEs the chance to ask completely free of charge on what to do with the challenges they face them. They face a lot of challenges when it comes to handling like profits and losses, marketing, how to adopt, how to change directions, etc.
Perfect.
Sir, how do you were you able to persuade others to join your initiative?
The persuasion was not really difficult. It was a challenge. We thought it was a challenge at the beginning, but it was not that really difficult. We started as a group that worked together in formal initiatives led by the government and other investors to formally mentor startups. But mentoring is different than support. So mentoring is as well free, but support is more needed because they have exact questions. We don't sit and tell them about the ideals of the business and how to do this, how to do that, but we need to respond to them immediately. So we started talking with the same group that we work with, and everybody started persuading 2 or 3 of his experienced friends, and that's how we started building up that catalyst. So we give free consultation, free advice, answering to problems and solutions to problems that they are facing, either over WhatsApp, or if it's really something that needs a discussion, they can book a 5-minute free talk with a relevant expert that we identify them with.
Yes. Engineer Tawakol, we understand that your initiative started in June 2020, correct?
No, we started earlier than that. We started a little bit earlier. We started in April because by April 2020, the amount of people that fail to understand how to adapt to what's happening with the COVID-19 was enormous. A lot of people, specifically the small businesses in food industries, started to failing miserably, and they started losing jobs.
Food industries as well?
In the food industry in the beginning, yes, it started in the food industry in the beginning because, as you see, Egyptians love outings, and most of the food industry was based on the outings, and the amount of smaller jobs that was servicing this community started happening. When COVID hit us, the early established food industry was not really hurt, but a lot of them, a lot of smaller and fresher businesses started actually in December 2019 and in January and February. And these people didn't actually have the momentum wrapped up for them to go after, and they didn't know how to respond.
Yeah. So you understand you've been able to support over 1,000
Yes.
SMEs so far?
Yes.
And how are the results? I mean,
The results were actually, some of them didn't really grab it, but people who grabbed it, they really made astonishing turnarounds. In the food industry, a lot of people started moving that were established to serve businesses. So they were serving the existing restaurants. The existing restaurants are not taking the same orders. So we helped them with different expertise from the group to start targeting consumers directly. The people who really were able to find the change in pattern of the behavior of the Egyptians in the lockdown period were able to do the best results. And most of our advice was actually going in that direction.
Okay, sir, how did social media help your initiative?
Actually, social media, as with every business, has a great role for us to achieve, or to actually to get our voice to all those people who we don't see them in the formal events. So we had the page up, and then we started targeting the actual groups where we have startups on it, on the social media, like the Lean Startup page. It has a lot of people, and other similar groups. We started posting free posts that we are available to support people who need a support, either over WhatsApp or email, and they can book appointments, for put their question and book a 5-minute appointment over the Facebook page of the startup community support community group. And that's how it started linking to each other, because those people are really suffering. So when you start helping somebody and it works, he goes and tell 5, and the 5 tell another 5, and that's how it ramped up very quickly. So by June, we have already had something like 1,000 supported startup.
Do you have a statistic, Engineer Tawakol, on the percentage of SMEs that have been able to survive the challenges of COVID-19 compared to those who have failed, or were or are on the brink of failure?
To be very honest with you, this needs a lot of effort. We don't have exactly, because those startups are not even established yet. Some of them are established doing the work, but they are not officially established because taxation, whatever. But we've been advising everybody to establish their firm.
I want your estimation.
My estimation is in something like 20 or 30% succeeded and the rest failed. And
That's
really
number.
bad. Yes, that's really bad, and that's why actually the government didn't take the stance of an early lockdown in the second wave.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge. Should you lock down or should you do? But I believe that the people that we supported in the second wave, starting from September, the success rate is above 60%. But in the first
Good.
wave, I don't believe the success rate actually exceeded 30% from the people we supported.
Okay.
Okay, sir, from your own point of view, what are the projects that can move the economy forward and help it grow?
You see, the problem is that most of the startups, and that's the most people who failed, they make a startup aiming to get rich, aiming to make money. And the problem is, that is not a purpose of any business. That's the inherent purpose of any business. If you do not make money, you're gonna die. You're not gonna sustain the business. But the real essence is in the projects that add value. So any project that really adds a value to customers, Egyptian customers that are on the ground with a need, are useful projects, and they deserve to be supported. And actually, they are the catalyst of changing Egypt to a better place.
Okay, so the secret again, added value. I mean, this word, or this expression, we hear it a lot.
Yes.
And I would, be greedy and ask you to explain to our viewers in the simplest form.
Okay.
Added value. What is added value?
Okay, let's explain value at the beginning, because added value means that we already put a value and then we add on it. And the simplest example that I try to explain to everybody who asks me about that is the car. The main value of a car is acceleration, because horses before the car were moving people from one place to one place. So the value is not moving from one place to one place. Horses had a problem. They do not sustain their acceleration. They get tired. So the main value of a car now is that you press fuel and it moves. Now, when the car is there are different people. So some people, even if they have money, they just want the basic value and small added value. Some other people are looking for status. So a Mercedes will be adding status. So that's an added value. Then the added value starts presenting features. So we do not look at features of the product or the service before we understand the real value of the product. So delivery, the value of it is convenience, because you sit at your home,
Right.
and it comes to you. But some features might change. A delivery might be in an hour. Some other brands promise you delivery, the fastest delivery, and so on.
Well, I think it's beautifully explained. Thank you. And what are the sectors, Engineer Tawakol, in your view, that should attract or should most startup hopefuls go to in the upcoming future in Egypt? I mean, your advice. I mean, which sector should I go to if I want to start up? Which sector would give me the better chance of succeeding, for instance?
Before COVID, I would have told you technology is a very nice way to do it. Going digital. But actually, what COVID-19 has taught us globally is that even when there is no guarantee that even after we succeed in fighting COVID, that we're not going to get another pandemic. So now we understood that people who were connected, economies that were connected, services that were actually connected digitally with their customers had a better chance to survive. So there is a global trend now that everybody has to be connected. That's the so-called digitalization trend. So in that sense, I would encourage the youth and the entrepreneurs in Egypt to go after any opportunity that really serves Egyptian customers and needs and not wants, because a want is a nice to have. So even if he tells you, yes, I want this, when you're ready to launch it, his priorities might change, but a need is a need. So they have to focus on the real needs, make their best to work with others. You don't need to learn technology, but go into collaboration with other people who have the technological know-how and serve the need with a digital back end. That will guarantee a better growing thing. It will guarantee it will survive against any other stances later on.
Sir, what are your suggestions and ideas to improve the SME investment climate?
Well, actually, that's a tricky question. And my friends in the investment industry might not like exactly what I say that I've been keep saying since more than 5 years. I don't think we have a problem in investments. We have, now that we understand that we have capable entrepreneurs, there is a lot of investments coming in. We have initiatives from like the central bank, so we have investments coming in debt, we have investments coming in equity. But the real problem is we don't have the rest of the ecosystem that supports startups. That's what we really should be working on. We need better culture, we need status for entrepreneurs, we need study of markets. Markets are the key word when it comes for serving value. Markets. And markets is where we can find, how can I say this? It's not sustainable, but it's a surplus of need. So a need that when we fulfill it, there will be other people wanting or needing that need, and so on. So we need to create markets. We need to celebrate startups. We are not a very forgiving culture when it comes to failure. Egypt has not been grown on that since a lot of years before, hundreds of years. We are not an industrial country. We are a recently industrial country. So we need just to celebrate the failure as we celebrate the success. This is very important.
Wow, very, very, very interesting and very important what you're saying, Engineer Tawakol. One more question, if you will allow me. The success of a startup or an SME, how much of it, in your view, comes to the idea? How much of it comes to the execution, to the effort, to luck, to relations, to marketing, and the factors you have?
You said some keywords that I would like to translate them very quickly to other words. I believe luck is effort for first. Effort is the key word. Idea is not a very good word in Egypt because we think our culture and our education has taught us that an idea is an idea. And an idea has no value unless it's an idea for solving a problem or a need. That's a good idea. Lots of good ideas are launched, and then the startups find them failing. They're not making any money, and they ask why. I ask people, do you want this? He said yes. I tell him because it's a want. Now, everybody, no matter how wealthy he is, he has priorities in spending his money. Priorities come for needs. And different classes in the market. Idea number one has to be based on solving a problem. Number two, you have to put a lot of effort and not execution. Execution is for companies that has established customers that are capable of going on and growing. But as a startup, you need to get your customers first. So you will do anything to get your customers. Even if you will spend hours not sleeping, trying to reach your customers over social media, convincing them, persuading them what you're doing. So the key of the key term is effort and luck. I like to think of luck as the right timing, better suited.
Oh,
Engineer.
we're enjoying listening to it, really.
Thank you very
Really.
much.
Engineer Ashraf Tawakol, founder of the Startup Support Community Initiative. Thank you so much for joining us in today's
you very
episode
much.
of Nile Cruise. It was our pleasure. Thank
It's
you
been
so
very
much
useful. Thank you.
for,
Thank you
the
very much for
informative
having me,
knowledge, sir.
and thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Dear viewers, you're still watching me, Rana, and Mohammed Abdelrahim. Don't go away. We still have more segments in today's episode of Nile Cruise.